Hey, how are you? My name's Felt. Welcome back to Magic the Gathering Arena, and today we are doing some Historic Brawl with Sauron the Dark Lord. Probably one of my favorite new commanders for both Historic Brawl and potentially regular Magic. Regular meaning paper. I suppose that was a bit derogatory, but whatever. Yell about how mad you are down in the comments below. Sauron the Dark Lord is a super cool commander that has a very powerful ward of sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Very cool. Another very powerful aspect is whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass Orcs 1, meaning that whenever your opponents are casting spells, you are making a really large Orc army. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. The ring has a giant pile of mechanics. Just know it's kinda cool. And when the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand, and if you do, draw 4 cards. That is a very important thing. That is something that we will actually try and use with the way that this deck is set up. We'll try and use it with stuff like Midnight Clock. Try and use it with stuff like Teferi's Ageless Insights, where we technically draw 8. Use it with stuff like No One Left Behind and Graveyard Shift, Rise of the Dark Realms, and Commit to Memory. There's some very good cards that will just reshuffle everything back together and draw fresh. Could make an argument that you should have Oracle of the Alpha in here so you could get a Time Twister to do the same thing for cheaper. I don't like Oracle of the Alpha. I think it's silly that you can shove the Power 9 in your deck, but that's an entirely other conversation. Otherwise, the deck is fairly straightforward. We are essentially a Grixis control shell with a handful of cool cards that work with the ring tempting you, like Sam's Desperate Rescue, for example. And then we have some cards that work with amassing, like March from the Black Gate. The bottom line is we have a lot of the classic Grixis controlling ideas in here. Believe it or not, Orcish Bowmasters is going to stay pretty consistent in that idea. But then we instead use stuff like Lazotep Plating to keep ourselves safe. And then use big old stuff like Blood on the Snow and Liliana Dreadhorde General and Jingu Taxis. We have a lot of these bigger cards in here because we run lots of looting effects with Faithless Looting and then like the Thrill of Possibility and just tons of ways to bin stuff so that we can eventually get it back with a big old Rise of the Dark Realms or mayhaps even a Breach the Multiverse. But yeah, this is kind of classic Grixis. It's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Do I think it's good? Yes, actually. I think this deck is very powerful. I think I went a little crazy on the top end cards and the idea of binning stuff when I don't really have that many ways to get them back. But I do still think it's super fun, and honest to God, you can kind of win the game with just Sauron on the battlefield, because if your opponent doesn't have board wipes, Sauron is a very sticky threat that is very hard to deal with because of its fancy ward. Either way, let's hop right into things. I'm going first. The Temple of Epiphany makes me want to keep this. Temple of Epiphany, and then this isn't a great land, but it does allow me to eliminate if I hit a third land. If I don't, then I can't play it. That's the only downside of the Crypt of the Eternals. It's a great land. It really is. It allows mana fixing, but you do really need to actually hit those lands first. My opponent is playing a Yarok deck, meaning that ETBs are doubled for them. But that's not always the worst thing in the world. It depends on what they're playing. There's different variants of Yarok decks that can be problematic. Definitely don't need a 3-drop. We kept a really greedy hand. Thank you very much, game. Yeah, I can't play my hand, actually. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of this was my own folly. But I quite literally cannot play my hand here. I really hope this is a land that is untapped in some way, shape, or form. Oh, thank goodness. We will amass some orcs. My opponent must be playing like Veil of Summer or something over there, or Tamiya's Safekeeping or something. One or the other. That's the only thing that would hold up priority like that on the stack, but that's good to know about. Tireless Provisioner, we can eliminate that. Opponent? What? You would rather lose the game than let your Tireless Provisioner die? Alright, my opponent is going first. I'm playing Shelob. This hand is pretty okay into Shelob. I don't know why they're playing Mox Amber, though. That's like a personal, not like pet peeve of mine, but personal confused moment of mine. I see a lot of decks run Mox Amber when they, like, can't even use it early. Like, their commander is like a 5 or 6 mana spell, by the way. This hits 6 mana spells. That's why I was really happy with this hand. We'll go ahead and counter that, honestly. I would rather them not ramp mega hard here. Let's go ahead and draw a card and get our Ring Temptation rolling. We will draw a card and lose a life. And we will amass orcs. That is a wonderful draw. They cannot play their Shelob yet. They'll be able to soon. Oh, they really are Spider Tribal. I am so proud of my opponent right now. Number of times I've watched people play a deck like this where it's just like good stuff in place of a tribal deck makes me so sad. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna counterspell that. I mean, you get a little guy, but that doesn't really bother me. I'd much rather just counterspell your thing. I'll probably make a bunch of armies eventually, so we'll just go ahead and block. Let's go ahead and make sure we get some extra blue mana that is not painful, shall we? We need to hold open 3 so we can counter Shelob again. I actually don't know that much about this card. It's hideous. Spiders have Death Touch Ward. Another creatures dealt damage. What the fuck are you? Vraska? That is very confuzzling. I'm gonna just play this and get another army rolling so I just have more chump blockers. And if my opponent doesn't do anything, we can brainstorm. If they do something, we can amass a bigger army. This is when stuff hits you, right? No, it's whenever I cast an instant or sorcery. I'm going to counter that. That looks really big and scary. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, they could have gotten a free card out of that. Oh wait, no, they still get that because it's when it's cast. Oh well, that still worked out in my favor, honestly.
Keep your friends close. Kill your enemies.
Yes, please. Dissipate is wunderbar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't play Cruelty of Gix. That's fine. So I'm at 2 now, right? Can't be blocked by a creature with greater power. We'll just hold back. We'll hold up Dissipate and then maybe Brainstorm or something as well. We really need to use Cruelty of Gix to maybe find a board wipe of some sort here. Their stuff is getting a tad out of hand. This also just, like, hides my hand here. Yeah, I don't really need Shelob anytime soon. My turn. I get to hold up Dissipate here. We're just going to jump straight to 2 and go get a Blood on the Snow. We don't die, do we? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage? I know, we totally don't die. We absolutely let Shelob resolve if they want it to. We'll block the largest amount of damage here, as we can. We don't have any creatures down there that we care about getting back, do we? No, we do not. That's fine. We can steal one of their creatures, like their big ol' Smolder. 1, 2... 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana? We have 8 mana. Do we want to? I don't actually want to right now. I'll live. We have a 5/7. That's quite difficult for them to get past. The Ageless Insight, and then honestly Shieldred. Because I can bring back Shieldred with the Blood on the Snow when I get to play it. We're playing this very slowly, very methodically. It's actually a little bit rough, I cannot deny. Five in the middle there. 7 on the outside there. I feel like my opponent can play Shelob here. I think they're just not choosing to. No. I don't want you to have that. They don't get to have the ring tempt them, which I like them not having. That's 5, that's 10, that's 8 if they don't. If they can kill one of my creatures, they do not get to kill me yet. It's only 8 damage coming through. Yeah, it's still not lethal. Absolutely block the most amount of damage. I only take 5. I will Blood on the Snow and then get back a Shieldred. Shieldred. And we will refill our life total with this looting. Yeah, sorry, Bilbo, you can go, buddy. Just want to refill my life a little bit here. Just a wee bit of life. And then we have Thrill of Possibility to help us along further. My opponent can probably replay their commander here in a bit, but that's not exactly a scary thought. Does she have a passive? Creature with Death Touch deals damage to a player, put a +1/+1 count. Okay, that has reconfigured to make something have a big old booty butt. We're just gonna do this because we have a Disdainful Stroke. Just get Sauron out there. I need an army to kill something. I do have an... I need an army to hit them. That's what it is. I'm trying to think of how exactly Sauron's ring mechanic works. I need an army to hit them. Something you control fights something you don't. Yeah, how's that going, opponent? Oh, man. Will they let he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy, opponent. Okay, my opponent has critical information. Alright, we'll draw some cards. But hang on. No, it's not big enough yet. Breach! What do we got, baby? What are we cooking with? Vraska sounds cool. And I think I saw Liliana in mine.
Leave before I make you disappear. My old skills still have their use.
Alright, I think we win from here. I think we pulled it back from the brink. The brink? The brink. That is only hexproof. That is not indestructible. If my opponent does find a Blood on the Snow off of this, I am in trouble. I do have just enough to play it, I believe. 1, 2 black. 1, 2, 3. And they could dump into Nykthos, actually. So they could dump into Nykthos to make green, right? They could dump into Nykthos to make black and get a Blood on the Snow off. If they so chose. I love that I get to steal a Vraska. Yes, please play a kill spell. Do it. 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 Sorry. Can't help myself. I have an answer in hand. Technically speaking, Shieldred is the easiest and best choice for them to kill right now. Oh, opponent, buddy. No, I'm sorry, you can't do that. I'm hexproof. Get wrecked. You know, the more I play Lazotep Plating, the more I'm starting to think it's like actually a good card. And I'm not just memeing myself with the idea of, oh, well, it had a mass on it. I think it's actually a good card. The fact that it's hard stopped their Casualties of War, which was about to rip me to shreds, blowing up a creature, a land, and a planeswalker. That, honest to God, if you get 3 things out of Casualties of War, I consider that to be a pretty good cast. I think my opponent's mad. So we're just going to talk about what other cards they could have possibly gotten that would have done me in. Well, let's look through. I don't see a board wipe in here. So there's several board wipes they possibly could have found, but this is only the top third of their library. What did we mill over with our Breach? We did mill over a Crux of Fate. That's something that they could have found. We unfortunately milled over our Rise of the Dark Realms, but we did not mill over our reshuffling effects. So that's good. So technically speaking, we could find a clock, or we could find a either a clock or commit to memory, and either one of those would allow us to reshuffle so we didn't deck ourselves, which is a real problem in this deck if you're not careful with Sauron doing Sauron things, because you can just like dump your hand to draw 4 each turn. I think this guy's going to be a great casual commander. Also, I'm just kind of chatting while my opponent's salty ropes because they like closed the app because they were mad that their big scowy spell didn't work. Piece of advice here, viewers. Just concede. Just concede. Because you never know who's going to be on the other side clowning you for just closing the app in a rage. Just concede. It's much less embarrassing to just concede and move on with your day than to sit there and be a clown because someone had an answer to what you were playing. I will say that I think I have been sleeping on Lazotep Plating. Honestly, I feel like I need to just start including this more and more in my decks. Because it saved my bacon a handful of times.
Its pain is our gain.
We're just gonna play this out as if we
They were a lousy servant anyway.
as if we could actually do whatever. Also, I wanted to get Jin back, but I thought this was the less annoying option.
Good help is easy to find in war.
And we're gonna watch them now just not actually be able to do anything because they aren't actually there, I'm pretty sure. They played a really good game until the end there. I think they played a little too slow. I think them letting me get out my Cruelty of Gix and then have an entire turn after I got my board wipe, not pressuring me hard enough, was kind of a misplay. But hey, I've done that before too. I had a game earlier where I lost because I played Crux of Dragons and Crux of Dragons? Crux of Fate. Yeah, I played Crux of Fate. My opponent was in mono green and I chose Destroy All Dragons. I immediately shame conceded. So if you were on the quote unquote ladder for Historic Brawl and you saw someone shame concede after hitting the wrong Crux of Fate while playing Sauron, that was me. That was me. And there goes my opponent. So either way, that'll be the end of that game. We did pretty well. I really liked how the deck functioned that time. GG's, but not really, because you're salty roped. We are going first, and we are playing against the Balrog Durin's Bane. I don't actually know what type of thing. What type of deck a Balrog deck would be, honestly. Nah, I'm just gonna mute him. I can't help myself, I'm toxic. We will play this. Technically speaking, we're one turn away from being able to commit something, but we do have some other stuff. I guess some type of red-black sacrifices? It can't be blocked except by legendaries. Yeah, it looks like it's probably some type of red-black sacrifice. I could counter this ability if I really wanted to be toxic about it. I'll let it go off. There's probably much better stuff for me to be worrying about countering. I think double blue is pretty good, because that way we can actually play the memory half of Commit to Memory. But yeah, I'm sure there's much better things for me to do. You know what I just realized? This synergizes with Treasure so well. Oh my god. Because You can basically take away half of the casting, or not half, like a portion of the casting cost by sacking treasures, huh? Gloin. I'm sorry, that I now see what your deck does, opponent. I'm not letting you have that. Thank you, come again. Stick that on the top of your library. Now I know what they're drawing in a turn. The commit part of commit to memory is weird. It's like very good and very not good simultaneously, in my opinion. Darn, not a very good hand here anymore. I don't think technically we can be deviled either because this only adds one of the right colors. And yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. But we're just going to go ahead and kill it. Because we want to save our Disdainful Stroke for a different time, potentially. We could feed the Swarm on this guy. Oh, well. There's a better answer. We're getting incredibly unlucky. This is one of those moments when I wish I had Sauron on the battlefield, but he is too expensive. He's a 6-drop, and I don't have the plus side of being able to, do the things. Oh, that is wunderbar. We cannot play Bedevil still, but we can play the Feed the Swarm. We can feed the Swarm. If they have an instant or sorcery spell, we will give them a bird. Honestly, I'm kind of okay with this. They don't get to draw cards. All they have is a bird. They sack their really important piece. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're really far off from being able to cast him because he's 7 in a red-black. They would need to sack a lot of stuff to get there. I have a feeling that says we're not really going to get to play Sauron this match until things get really late and I have, like, slowed the tempo down drastically. Oh. Spicy. Not what I expected to see. Do it. Yes, hit the crypt. Yes! Oh, that's so much better for me. Now I can go get an actual red source. Oh, the reason that's better for me is that Hive of the Eye Tyrant can just, like, go kill their graveyard, just in case they have, like, graveyard synergies over there. Unfortunately, obviously, the best card in my deck was right on top, so that's just unfortunate for me. Did get another land as a result, though. Yeah, we could technically have attacked with Hive of the Eye Tyrant, but I think holding up removal and stuff is better. Bedevil is now finally online. It's taken it 12 unadulterated years, but it's online. It's like my opponent is running lots of, like, land hate. I think we can get away with playing Sauron here, but what if they have a sack effect? Let's get it out of them, then. If they have a sack effect, it'll come out eventually anyways, right? If they blow something up, we're going to get double black because we have a lot of spells that use double black. Like with the Field of Ruin, I mean. We have lots of spells that use double black, and not a ton that use double red. Rankle and Tor Brankle. Thanks for the army. We can kill the Rankle and Tor Brankle with Bedevil on this upcoming turn. And then we'll still hold Disdainful Stroke for that nerd. What does this guy do? So it's, if a source would deal damage, so it deals damage +2, or everybody sacrifices a creature, or everyone makes a treasure token. Oh, everyone does everything is another option. Yeah, see, here's the thing about that, though. I had an army. That's the weird thing about dealing with Sauron, is you have to be very specific about your edicts. Because they need to be able to hit, like, specifically sack a legendary creature. Or, like, something to that degree. They need to be very, very specific in what they do. Can we counter this ability? I think we can, right? Yeah, we can. We can counter this trigger, and they can't do anything about it. because defabricate is defabricate. Slept on card, in my opinion. Okay, slept on card in the higher, quote unquote, higher portions of the queue. In the like a harder matchups, I suppose is the right term. The matchups where like you're playing like a Nicol Bolas or like an Essica. Being able to counter like triggered abilities or have this counter artifacts or enchantments can be incredibly valuable. Can be incredibly valuable. Building stockpile is not something that I can deal with. That is fine. That will resolve. If they try and play a 4-drop, though, I can deal with that. Is this the one that just, like, can be sacked to make... Oh, they're done. Yeah, no. Sauron is very difficult to deal with if it lands. It's wild. You kind of need to board wipe him. Because, like, you guys got to see it in action. Each player sacrifices a creature. Up, it's gone. Oh, they're trying to do something else that, like, it's just hard to deal with. It's just a lot for them to deal with simultaneously. Because the ward is so brutal, because it has to be legendary. Now, I'm sure in Legends Matters decks, it'll be less annoying, like, I don't know, Joda. Potentially, or like Essica, maybe, if you're running, like, legendaries off of that, but it's just really hard to deal with Sauron. He's a really great card, in my opinion. But GG's, Balrog. On to the next. Opponent goes first, playing Brunor. I'm actually okay with this hand. We have all of our colors of mana and a Fatal Push. Get that shit out of here. I hate alchemy cards. Get rid of them! Get rid of them! This does hit the commander, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, oh, this hand is great. Change the equation is good for early into a Brunor deck, for if they try and play like some, spicy. We can play this tapped. It is a red spell! I like the way that they make stuff work when in regards to spells like that. It's pretty typically like... We need to get double blue here. Because we have so much black and red in our hand. I like that stuff that like says affects a certain color of a spell is this might not be bad to play either. Is typically just a I guess we need to go get a removal spell there. That's annoying. Honestly, we could just go get a removal spell regardless here, huh? We want to get rid of this guy. Oh no, we want to... Nah, we're just going to hold up the commit so we can just like counter Brunor again. And if not, we get rid of the rebel if they try and equip the sword. We got options. We got options. Sure. If they start trying to equip things is when we get rid of the little token. Because now they can't play anything. Okay, so let us diabolically intent away our Solemn Simulacrum. We'll draw a card. Our opponent leaves. Well, this absolutely changed what I was going to do. Because the ring tempting me already meant that I was probably just going to go get a removal spell. Like, play this, go grab, like, Heartless Act or something so I could kill off Brunor and then get Sauron down so I could start, like, drawing through my deck super quick with my Orc army. But yeah, I guess that'll do it. I guess they were over it when I could go get exactly what I wanted. Joke's on them. It was literally just a kill spell. To be fair, we had Memory in the Graveyard, though. Memory in the Graveyard means that, like, if we're using Sauron to just, like, mill out our deck, we can get it back eventually anyways. But GG's. Our opponent goes first, is playing Oracle of the Half-Truth. It's kind of weird to play as a commander. It's probably just some Dimir Drago pile of counter spells. Probably going to be a pretty dull matchup, I'm not going to lie. Speaking of dull, we'll keep this. It's dull not because it's bad, it's dull because it's a lot of tapped lands, so I don't actually have early interaction. It's actually a phenomenal hand. If one of these two was untapped, I'd love it so much more. Birthday Escape, pretty okay. They won't be able to play their commander for a turn or two, so we could probably play it. This is one of those things where it gets you an early start in the ring, and it's essentially cycle for a blue. Make sure we get our black mana down. Yeah, it's essentially you get to cycle and get the ring to tempt you. I really want to get to Fairy's Ageless Inside Out. That's a little scary, but it's not the end of the world. We can counter the flip ability, so now it's just stuck there with, 4 counters on it. Or with 0 counters on it, technically. They're gonna Mull Drift. I guess they just, really want to hit their land drops. Fun fact, we can use Orcish Medicine to get an army. Which is pretty funny. Just gonna go ahead and do. Enjoy the lifelink, buddy. We can go and faithlessly loot. Maybe throw some good stuff in the bin. Alright, we're gonna throw our reanimators in the bin, honestly. This is not looking like the type of game where I really want those anyways. He's just a little guy, leave him alone. Hey, leave my little 1/1 alone. He's just a little guy, opponent. Leave him be. Stops their mana ramp. It's not really that good, but that is very good, though. Especially because we can faithlessly loot here in a second. We still have our wash away, in case they just want to play their commander for card advantage, which I don't really want to let them do. I don't think they'll have a way of dealing with my enchantment, and this only flips and gets rid of creatures, I believe. Yeah, it's only creatures. I don't want to give you any mana advantage. Or card advantage. We got 2 options here. We can play Faithless Looting and pray we hit a land, which is... Never mind, we hit a Make Disappear. So we're going to draw 4. And then ditch 2 things. Hall of the Storm Giants I don't really want, but I do want. Witching of Angmar is pretty not great. Let's drop the Hall, because we want untapped mana right now. We can just make disappear the cast again if they're trying to find some cool stuff. And if not, we can sack the army to make something disappear. Depending on what they play. No, thank you. Come again. Okay, so we got that out of the way. There's no reason for us to not swing just in case they let it connect. Now, whenever they cast a spell at all, I will amass. Which will hopefully work out in my favor. I might need to Diabolic Intent to get something cool here. I don't know. We'll see. This might have been a mistake to play it like this. Do you have a legendary to sack for that opponent? I don't think you have a legendary to sack for that opponent. I don't think you read what the card does. Yeah, so you can take my insight. That's okay. That doesn't bother me. You do get to draw more cards. That's pretty cool. But then I get to make you lose 3 and I gain 3. Haha. They do get to draw a bunch of cards off of this, though, if they have any card draw effects in their deck. Which they might. They might. I can't imagine Blue-Black has a ton of stuff like that. Let's just do that now. They can discard something to try and draw again. I will go ahead and kill the thing in the ice, though. I just want it out of here. So now when my army hits, I have the ring tempt me. Unless they have a removal spell. My orcs are getting massive. Holy cow. Hopefully, whatever I draw out of these 8 cards here in a second will include some counter magic. That would be cool. I think they just stole a land. Thanks for the life, bud. Goodness gracious, that was a chunky hit. Yeah, you will bear my ring. I will discard and draw 4. We will play Key to the Archives and hope to get something cool out of it. Let's do the time warp again. Alright, well this is a little cheesy of a win, but I will take what I can get. My opponent stole my Teferi's Ageless Insight. I worked hard for that. I worked so hard for that. I will say, I think they actually would have had a much better chance if they had done the exchange and just left me with the thing in the ice, to be completely honest, because then I would have had to get a new orc army, and I wouldn't have been able to draw, get my key, yada yada yada. Because I need to have the ring tempt me, and the only consistent way I have to do that is to have an army attack. But maybe they don't know that, maybe they don't realize what Sauron does, I don't know. Either way, that was very lucky regardless. We did. In my brain, honestly, if I was playing this in paper, this would not exist, but I'd have an extra yuckin' extra turn spell, so maybe I would have drawn it instead. I still don't like alchemy cards that much. But anyways, GG's artist, oracle, person, guy. We are going first with a pretty not great hand into Aragorn the Unifier. This is much better. Especially because we can scry. Orcish Medicine not very good here. Orcish Bowmasters are a pretty good card. You'll pay the 2 life for that. Kinda hope. Okay, that's fine for me, honestly. I think we will go ahead and flash in the Orcish Bowmasters. I kinda was hoping they would have an extra green creature or something here. But I'll take just doing 1 damage and then getting an army on board early. Ooh, Lelia. I'll play her next turn. In case I don't need to play Shieldred. Lelia's a card you need to be careful about, though, because you need to, like, make sure you exile the right time. Dryad! How about Dryno? I don't know what we want to get here. My opponent's still missing blue. I think that's why they had the Dryad out. Bodes well for me. Flying Lifelink Haste. Strange. And you can just keep swinging with Shieldred. Yeah, they realized. Yeah, this race favors me. Alright, come on, Lelia. Show me something good. I mean, it's okay. Lands are lands, right? My opponent doesn't really have that much in their graveyard, though, so Shieldred ain't doing that much for me. Let's just go ahead and do this so I stop holding Prio. This game will be over pretty quick, honestly. Alright, I think now we need to start being more careful ourselves. Is Reflector Mage the one that bounces, or it's the one... It is, right? Bouncing Lelia. Honestly, I might just bounce Shieldred. What they don't know is if I can discard Shieldred, I can get her back. That would have been so sick, though, am I right? Alright, that's fine. We can Graveyard Shift anybody back now if they die. I kind of hope Shieldred dies at this point. Thanks for the bigger Orc army. Yeah, getting rid of that was actually, honestly, super mega worthwhile. I do have to worry about the Adult Gold Dragon being problematic going forwards, because it's going to keep lifelinking. I think I will just swing in with Shieldred and see if they want to trade, honestly. I'm on a pretty short clock here. I do need to play something to make sure this guy doesn't flip. I can't play 0 spells. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing in with Shieldred and see if they want to let me get, like, no one left behind. I want her to die, honestly. Okay, I don't want her to die. We will get rid of the thing that's making life hard. That guy. And then we'll just go ahead and play Jenny G. Because Jenny G's a homie. I can keep doing 4 in the air. I'm on a 3-turn clock. But midnight clock will let me draw some stuff here in a second. I think it's the right choice. Let's make sure we tap it. Tap for a colorless, and then use that. Let's try and go find a an actual spell here, shall we? Oh my god, that was abysmal. Orcish Medicine will help if we don't immediately freaking die. Lightning Bolt. We got a red source to play, right? Oh, thank goodness. Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt, you're saving my butt. Thanks, bud. We will just stay back because we don't actually want to do anything too crazy yet. We want to just be able to use Orcish Medicine to make Sauron a big boy. That is literally like the only card they could have drawn that wins them the game. Right? Oh no, it's only 6 damage. It's only 6. I live. I lived, bitch. And then I get to gain 7 back. I can not Fatal Push anything. We will give him lifelink so we gain 7. We are holding on by the thinnest of margins. This is quite rough. We could rise to the Dark Realms, but there's literally nothing to get back, is there? Yeah, it looks like all they have is Aurelia. Oh wait, we can steal their lifelinker, right? You can just breach to do that, though. Aye. Aye. Attacking creatures I control have double strike. I think that's lethal. Let's go! That was terrifying. Oh man. Oh man, that breach was really nice. That won me the game. Rise of the Dark Realms would have let me hang on to the game. Breach won though. This guy needed to be double blocked because he's lethal on his own. And then outside of that is 6, 10, 14, another double blocked, like 8. Let's see. Okay, so you were 2, you were 14, but you were gonna be blocked because that was lethal, right? And then that left open 16 here, which could only, yeah, they just didn't have enough. Shieldred could not be double blocked, so that's 8 getting through, meaning that Gothmog was probably getting, yeah. Whew. That's the other reason I got the Gleaming Overseer when I saw the Blade Historian, because of the Menache. That was a very lucky breach, but I did have another plan and another plan. Literally sitting in my hand. Crux of Fate, I think, would have been the right decision, because we could rise the Dark Realms. And I'm going to hope that they wouldn't have had a way to get their stuff back. Yeah, whatever. They're not in black, they probably didn't. But either way, GG's Aragorn. Sauron wins today! And that's Sauron. Deck's a little difficult to pilot. Deck's a bit tricky. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a different way of playing Grixis Control because you actually are trying to win before your opponent kills you. Unlike a lot of other Grixis Control decks, which I swear are just, yeah, we're just not going to let anything resolve. This deck, in the way that I have it built and pilot it, is definitely a case of the, I'm going to try and kill you with armies and my legendary creatures just swinging away at your face. Which is one way of doing it. There could be other ways. You could absolutely run more board wipes, more removal, more counter spells, and just play full control Sauron, where the game plan is ramp into him with artifacts and control, and just play him so that he makes a giant army, and then when you're finally out of cards, redraw, reshuffle your library together with Midnight Clock and Commit to Memory, and just go from there, eventually winning through combat. But I think this version's a little bit more fun, where I just like have some silly little lines like, oh, I can breach the multiverse this turn. Oh, I can do Rise of the Dark Realms for all the stuff that's in our graveyards, you know? I think it's super fun. I think it's super interesting. I think this card's going to have a great time in Paper Magic. I think there's a lot of cool cards that support him in Paper Magic. But that'll be it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you want the deck list, that's down in the description below, as is the place to like and subscribe to the channel. So go do all of that. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.